This tutorial will take an animated PNG file that was created in Fireworks CS5 and import it into Flash CS5, and then we'll use that character to create some simple motion tweens. We'll start by creating a new Flash file. We'll just choose ActionScript 3.0. And I like to start by adding a new layer in my timeline and naming both of the layers. I'll call the layer at the bottom the background because I want it to be underneath my character layer, which is going to be layer 2, and I'll name that layer Hulk because our character will be the Hulk, as you shall see. Now I want to import some files into my library, so I go to File, Import, Import to Library. And I'll choose my animated PNG file and my background and open them both. Keep the settings as they are and click OK. And we can see now under our library tab we've got a lot of files in the library now. My original background is called mine.png, and Flash has also converted it into a symbol, called it symbol 11. These bitmaps are the individual states of my walk cycle. To find the animated PNG itself, I open Fireworks Objects, Hulk Walk, page 1, and here's the actual animated PNG. You can tell that it's the correct file because it has this little play button at the top, and I can actually see the animation. So I'm going to rename that so I can easily find it again. And right now it's a movie clip. We'll talk a bit more about that later. What I want to do first is take this symbol, which is my background, and bring it up onto the stage. But I want to make sure that I'm on my background layer. And then I can just drag it on, center it. As you can see, my background image is a lot bigger than the stage itself. And so I'm going to go to Modify, Document, and I want the document settings to match the contents. So it's actually just going to match the dimensions of my background, which is 800 by 600 pixels. Okay, and then I'm going to go to View, and for magnification, Fit in Window, and it zooms out to 76% to show my whole background. Now you can see in the first frame on my timeline I have a black dot, which signifies a frame with something on it. In this case it's a keyframe, that's what the dot means, and a blank dot, which means that this is an empty frame, an empty keyframe. So I'm going to go up to this layer and bring in my Hulk file, and I'll start him over here. Just going to move him down so that his feet line up with the ground. Now, while he's highlighted, I'm going to move to the Properties panel and change him from a movie clip to a graphic. That way, when we scrub in the timeline, or when we play back our animation in the timeline, you can see his feet moving through the walk cycle. If it's a clip, it doesn't show that until you test the scene or export the movie in Flash. So change all of your animated PNGs into graphics. Now we're going to be moving him through this background across the timeline, so I'm just going to choose a frame farther down in the background layer, and I'm going to right click or control click and just insert another frame there. Now you can see that the Hulk disappeared. That's because we're now looking at frame 90 in this sequence, and the background layer is there, but there's nothing on the Hulk layer, and so he's not shown. If we move back to the first frame, he'll reappear. So in order to make a simple motion tween, I'm just going to advance 20 frames on the Hulk's layer, right click and insert a frame. And now I'm going to click anywhere between those two frames, right click and create motion tween. His layer turns to blue, and then I'm going to move to the end and move my instance to where I want him to end up. Flash CS5 will automatically make that a keyframe, and it shows the motion path that my character is taking. So if we go back to the beginning, we can watch him walk. Okay. The loop and the motion is a bit fast for my liking, so I'm going to go down here to where it says 24 frames per second, and I'm going to move that down to 12. This is a sprite animation, so it doesn't need to be too detailed. Now I want him to walk up the incline, and you'll see that the space here is about equal to the space here. So I'm just going to move my cursor up to the 40th frame. I'm adding 20 because I had 20 over here. And just again, insert a frame. It's already a part of that same motion tween. Okay, so I don't need to create another motion tween. But again, on that final frame, I'm just going to move him to where I want him to end up. And your motion path should be parallel to the ground. Now I'd like him to move a little bit farther along, so I'll choose a shorter distance in the timeline, which represents a shorter amount of time, and then insert a frame again. I'm on that last frame, and so I'll move him to where I'd like him to be. And we can see the motion path. The larger dots are the keyframes, and the smaller dots represent the frames between. So let's watch what we've got now. Slow down. Okay.
Dark blue banner, belted by gamma rays,